It is another new year. That means that toy creators everywhere, including me, are putting out their best of 2022 videos. I gotta admit, I love watching these, but it makes me sad that some figures that are just amazing just don't get the love and attention that they deserve. Often, a few years down the line, people look back and appreciate them more and say, crap, I should have prioritized getting that. Today we give these underappreciated but not forgotten figures the spotlight they deserve in the top 10 hidden gems of 2022. What is up, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy, and together we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerdzoic. If it is your first time here, welcome. On this channel, we hop aboard that nostalgia bus and I talk about the toys and the franchises from yesterday and today. But in this case, I guess we're talking about yesteryear. I don't know. Now you might be asking yourself, hey Big Nerdy, didn't you just do a best of 2022 video? You're right, I did, but this is different. With this video, I'm aiming to spotlight some of the best figures from the year that aren't getting quite the amount of love they deserve. It's really hard to fit just 10 figures in a best of list, so this is kind of like my way of saying, hey, these are really good too. What seems to end up happening with these figures is they sit on pegs for a while, and then 6 months to a year or so down the line, people start saying, oh, I should have picked that up. Pay attention and avoid that by watching closely. Coming in at number 10 is the TMNT Universal Monster Hunchback Leonardo. And honestly, this would pretty much apply to a lot of the other figures in this subline as well, specifically Raphael and Michelangelo. They all look great. However, Leonardo is definitely my favorite here. Usually I hate mashups, but something about these, they just pop. I love the fact that Leo's shell opens up for storage, because who doesn't need more storage? And it's quite possible that the stop motion videos by DJDX Animation might have been what sold me on these, because I had no plans on collecting these. Now I got a couple of turtles I'm about to open up, and I don't know. Do I want to get them all? I don't know. Coming in at number 9 is the TOYBIZ 20th Anniversary Incredible Hulk. This wave, if you want to call it that, consisted of just 4 figures, and pretty much unanimously, everyone will tell you that the cap is amazing, including me, and it gets all the love from this series. However, I really think this Hulk figure is a sleeper. Now, when this was originally solicited, I hated it. I thought the renders for the face sculpt, I thought they looked completely terrible. Blah, I believe was my word. He looked like this. Once I got him though, I felt like his face was night and day different, even though it wasn't that much different than the renders, but it looked so much better in person. Now, to be perfectly honest here, he is still not the perfect classic Hulk for my collection, but for now, he is standing in, and to me, he's probably the second best Hulk figure in the entire Marvel Legends line, only behind the SDCC retro one they did a few years ago. I'm not paying up for that SDCC one, so for now, Hulk is going to smash his way onto my shelf, and he's going to be there, and he's going to represent the Hulk. Hulk happy. Coming in at number 8 is COBB VANTH of the Black Series. Now, it is only justified that Raylan Givens ends up on this list somewhere. See what I did there? You like that? I love Timothy O'Flynn, and I love the character he played on The Mandalorian as COBB VANTH. And I was super sad when he got killed by Cad Bane. Or did Cad Bane kill him? I don't know. Is he alive? Find out if he's alive. Now, of course, this is another one of those deluxe figures because they have a lot of accessories that probably shouldn't be a deluxe figure, but I can't ignore how nice this looks. It is, of course, still based off of that Return of the Jedi Boba Fett we got last year, which I raved about. It kind of makes sense that I love this too. I do wonder how many times we're going to see this deluxe Boba Fett mold repackaged into a different Boba Fett. What I'm about to show you is footage exclusive to Nerdzoic. We managed to get a camera inside of a marketing meeting for the Star Wars team, and, well, listen to what they have to say.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more
Boba Fett. There you have it. You saw it here on Nerdzoic first, folks. Yeah, I had no idea either that Christopher Walken was working with Hasbro. Coming in at number 7 is The Dark Times Darth Vader. And I'll be honest, calling this a hidden gem might be a bit of a stretch because this got a lot of praise, but I'm flexible. Even after the crazy amount of 3.75-inch Darth Vaders we've gotten over the years, somehow they've managed to top them all and create this, which is by far, to me, the definitive version of Darth Vader in that scale. Like the 2013 Black Series 375 figure, yes, they happened, look it up. This is going to become a must-have for collectors down the line as the best version. It's safe to say that this took over the mantle from the mini Black Series figure. Coming in at number 6 is the Mythic Legion's ALDER. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it probably is. Now, admittedly, ALDER is pretty hard to find, so you would think that, hey, how is this hidden? Well, it's hidden because there were a lot of awesome Mythic Legion releases this year, and somehow, to me at least, he seems to get lost because he's just an animal. He's not a person. But what I really need to impress on people here is that it's a damn moose. There was never a time in my collecting life that I imagined that I would have the chance to add a moose to my collection. Now, when these came in, I highly regret not picking one up for myself because he would go perfect with the figure Obscura Santa. Paint his nose red, he'd be like Rudolph. Oh man, that would have been great. Now I got a question for the Four Horsemen though. How long until we get a war elephant? I need a war elephant. Coming in at number 5 is Spirit with Freedom. This was an amazing year for G.I. Joe, as noticed by the fact that they won Best Toy Line in the Nerdies, and this figure seems to get a little bit lost sometimes among the other great figures that were released this year. For example, most people are talking about the Storm Shadow, Crocmaster, Serpentor, Sergeant Slaughter, and that's all for good reason. But Spirit, he's awesome. I love the aesthetic of this, I love the Native American look, and obviously the fact that we get Freedom with him, to me is great, because I'm an Eagles fan, go Birds. I do wish it was easier to get him into a hugging pose, because I want to have my Freedom hug my Spirit. I know it sounds weird, but it's a thing. Coming in at number 4 is the Mirage Comics NECA TMNT Slash. Phew, that is a mouthful. Nobody's really talking about this, and I'll be honest, I don't totally get it. I get that he's not based on the original cartoon, so the nostalgia is not as huge. There's not as big of an audience. I get that he's not a movie base, which he was never in a movie that I can remember, so that's fine. I get that he's not based on the actual Playmates toys, but he's awesome. I picked up the cartoon version of this earlier this year, and I am super tempted to make the switch because this one just looks great, but it is not cartoon accurate, so dilemma. If you haven't guessed by now, this is based on the Mirage Comics Slash, which has a more adult cartoony look, which is what I love about him. He's got those warts on his skin, he just looks great. Coming in at number 3 is the Marvel Legends U.S. Agent from the Controller Build-A-Figure wave. As some of you might know, I was a guest on the Marvelicious Toys Year-End podcast, which if you haven't heard it, go check it out. And one of my picks that surprised Justin and Arnie the most was the fact that I took the Controller wave as Wave of the Year. And honestly, I think that whole wave is a sleeper wave. There are some awesome figures in it. I love that we got Madam Hydra. I love that we got the Quake figure that can be used to like sub out Maria Hill. You can army build him. I think that's awesome how there's the 2 different heads for it. I think that Thor is fantastic. But to me, this is the figure to have from that wave. In fact, this figure is probably what pushed that over the ledge into being the Wave of the Year for me. We haven't gotten too many versions of U.S. Agent. We did get the MCU version about a year ago, but as far as comic book wise, I don't think we've really gotten any, right? I know we got the Epic Heroes one, but I think that was 375 if I'm not mistaken. A classic comic character in a definitive design, count me in. Coming in at number 2 is the Black Series Wandering Obi-Wan. As a guy with an old soul, every time I see this figure's name, all I think of is the old song from Dion. Oh, I'm the type of guy that really gets around. I won't subject you to that. Despite there being a lot of critiques for the show, I absolutely loved Obi-Wan. Now, quite frankly, it's probably not fair to use me as a barometer on this, because you could have just made a show of Obi-Wan going to work, punching in, cutting his space beef, and coming out and punching his space clock out, and I would have been like 5 stars. When people talk about Ewan McGregor likenesses, everyone brings up the Obi-Wan face sculpt from the Clone Wars version that was a Walgreens exclusive a few years back. I think this one's even better, and that last one is super hard to get now unless you're willing to shell over a crap load for it. Add in some great accessories including Lola, a gun, obviously his lightsaber, and of course, a soft goods robe! You guys know I love soft goods. Before we get into number 1, let me just say that I never expected to ever see a figure like this in 2022. It's just not something that I thought that Hasbro/Disney would greenlight. So let's find out who it is. Coming in at number 1 is Jigsaw. Like I said, shocked we got this. Punisher is my number 2 favorite character, and I never expected we'd get anything like this. In a world where McFarlane's not even allowed to have guns with their figures anymore, out comes Hasbro rolling out with their big kahuna saying, yeah, this dude's got multiple knives and a hideously scarred up face that nightmares are made of. What of it? I love that he did not get PG'd. Major props for the creepy head sculpt, the creepy mad grin, and all the knives. Marvel Legends team, I don't know how you snuck this one through, but thank you. Mark my words, as the years go by, these figures are going to become highly sought after, and if you didn't get them, you're going to wish you had. You might even be feeling regret over figures that made last year's Hidden Gems list, and if you don't believe me, watch it right here. And remember, you gotta get old, but you don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Later.